What's Mostert up to here?
This is big news.
What is going on here? We'll get a report from the team in the pit lane. It is roaring hot out there at the moment.
Green flag,
Waters and Randle, Feeney and Payne. So does Brown lock it up, or Feeney get to fight another day? It's time for what might be the decider in 2024, and Randle gets power to the ground beautifully in the Castrol entry. A little bump and grind on the run to one. Randle out the other side. He's got Waters tucked in behind. And how about Payne? He's rocketed away from the start, and he's threatening down the inside here. But Thomas Randle has the lead into turn 4. The Bulls are nose to tail. Aaron Love's on the inside of them.
That was a big move by Payne. I thought he was going to get down the inside of Cam Waters, but a beautiful start by Thomas Randle, and a jump start a little bit further back. Bryce Fullwood definitely jumped out of the bay before the start when the start light commenced.
Nice opening half lap here for Thomas Randle, who's got fresh air all around him. Meantime, Will Brown on the attack here with Aaron Love on the inside. They sort themselves out on the run to 8. This is what I spoke about. Cleanly through there on a cold tyre, which is a great way to get started. Randle, Waters, Payne. Nice start for Matt Payne. Trouble down here in the hairpin at 9. And it's congested. We're riding with David Reynolds. Turn 11 exit.
They've been very gentlemanly on the first lap. In fact, they were all very conservative. Oh, and a bump there on the way in to turn 14. So was that Golding on the way in to 14 with David Reynolds? Yes, he just gave him a little bump off the curb. And in the braking approach, now the teammates fire down to turn 1.
With Chaz Mostert, guys, was his clutch. He felt it as soon as he launched for the practice start. It went soft, so he came through the lane. The next drama he will have at the pit stop, the team have already instructed him, just turn the engine off and then try and drive it out on the starter motor when it's time to go.
That's not a way to start what's going to be a hot, hard day at the best of times when things are working right, let alone dealing with that. Thanks for the update, Garth. Randle has got nearly a 1 second lead now over his teammate. It's been a roaring start for him, and he converted beautifully right from the get-go. Brown's in behind his teammate as Heimgartner that chases Wood all the way to the right-hand fence, and they are in the dirty side of the racetrack over there, and it would be very difficult to stop. They almost end up 3 wide down here, and that was awkward. Cooper Murray up on the outside there in car 9.
That was a real challenge, wasn't it? Because Dale Wood was trying to get down the inside.
The stewards have imposed a 5-second time penalty to car 14 for a false start.
Fair bit of wheel spin for Thomas Randle, but it was still a better jump than Cam Waters, who was then able, this is Thomas Randle, able to go back into the position he wanted as far as the ideal racing line was concerned. And here's the move that we talked about of the Red Bulls getting by Matt Payne up here at turn 7, which that wall on the outside there's been eased back year on year. And no problem even with the downshifts here. The challenge may be what Garth alluded to, which is what happens in the pit stop and how is that to be managed. Whoa, that was a bit spooky. Brody Kostecki lighting him up, sprint car style coming out the other side. And we've got Bryce Fullwood mixed in this as well as Aaron Love. So a little bit of congestion and therefore potentially trouble brewing in this group at the moment.
It's all good head down now. Let's just pull away from these guys behind.
Quite animated, weren't they?
Yeah, there are a couple of free character references being issued on the radio there. So Deep Pasquale down the inside. And you do not want to be out in the grey there at turn 8. And so Aaron tries to cover down the inside. He's got Macaulay Jones breathing on the back of him. Got Ryan Wood here. This has got trouble written all over it. And they all managed to pop out the other side.
Yeah, don't talk too early, because you've got to get through this left-hander, and there's still 2 abreast. I don't want to be on the outside now in Macaulay's car, and I also don't want to be on the outside when you get through this fast right. So Macaulay's been able to get back to the inside, and a little lunge, no. Thought better of it. Oh, they're all seriously nose to tailing. What, there's 10 cars there. It's like peak hour in Adelaide. I just asked the guys to find this. Watch this. Randle leading. Have a look how close he is to the fence on the way into turn 8.
Ouch.
That is so close.
Some nice roaded tyres here for Brock. Let's count his fueling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There you go. So we saw that at the Gold Coast, didn't we? Short fill now, and they'll want to put a little more fuel in later in the day, maybe get a safety car. What I'm intrigued to see, though, is what they do with Brown now to see Feeney and Brown were line of storm that way. What do they want to do? How do they want this to play out championship-wise? They want to switch it around? I can tell you one thing, Brock Feeney will not want it.
Cam Waters now our race leader. He's got 2.9 seconds over Payne. So how do they fuel these cars? Red Bull have the ability to look at what their opponent's doing, and that helps.
Go, mate.
In and out, gone, done. Obviously had some margin. Heimgartner and Percat also in the background here.
So massively different strategy between Will Brown and Feeney there. You can see the gap as Brock Feeney drove by. So a short fill Feeney. I don't know whether they actually made a change to Will Brown's car at the same time just then, because it looked like the left-hand front was a drama for Red Bull. Blanco?
Yeah, Crompo, sorry, Scafie, I was standing on the other side of the car, but I couldn't see it, but I did see it. It was about 8 or 9 seconds, that stop, and it was the left front. You're dead right, so that was not intentional.
Yeah, wait for fuel, mate.
Looks like they're putting a bit of extra fuel just on rough math for Cam. Will Davison in. So Payne also having done his compulsory stop. That leaves Brody out there. And I think the only other one to stop is Mark Winterbottom. So there's only 2 of them out there now. Maybe Dale Wood actually make it 3.
So Randle and Waters are still only 1.5 seconds apart. So there won't be much difference in what they've done with those 2 Tickford cars.
Larko, the exact same thing happened for Matt Payne as he had to come around the Dick Johnson Racing pit box as they were set up waiting for Will Davison. So Payne ended up in his box on an awkward angle. They were slow getting the filler on. If you remember back to the Gold Coast, Penrite Racing protested Dick Johnson Racing over a pit infringement, and they'd say tit for tat.
Yeah, thank you for the update there. There was a lot of spot on the Gold Coast. The reason why we gulped then, sorry to interrupt you, Garth, was that there was contact between Cooper Murray and Mark Winterbottom. Fortunately for Frosty, he didn't end up making heavy contact rearward at turn 7. So here it is again from above the chopper angle to tell us a little bit more about it. Remember that Cooper's down the order. He's gone for the dive down the inside, tagged the right rear. He'd probably get a slap for that. And Frosty's just nudged it up into the tyre barrier there. Lucky that he got away with that without too much damage. Mark Winterbottom is now big dive down the inside for James Courtney, and James makes that work.
Feeney leads, but remember that was a purposeful short fill. Percat trying to get down the inside. Love runs himself wide, right out over the exit curb and up against the tyres. Mostert now trying to sneak down the inside at 11. He's right in behind him. He'll make a move on him on the way into turn 14. And here we are, we're on board with Mostert trying to put a move on Aaron Love. It was very close and he got that done, nicely executed. Aaron was in strife at turn 9 where he ran wide. Now it's not over. So Love's actually plunged his way back down the inside of Chaz. Chaz will now be coming off turn 3 looking to get down the inside, and he does. Nice move. Gets it stopped. Very nice move, and that's also got Golding involved. Golding and Love making contact. Always difficult to get through this, the guys call it the staircase section, this 90-degree section, without running one of the guys wide towards the fence, and they did do that, so nicely done. But Chaz had to have 2 bites of the cherry there.
Oh, we've got trouble here for car number 26, and that's an awkward moment for Dale Wood, who's parked at turn 5 in the kitty litter, and that may trigger some trouble.
Yeah, this will be a safety car. He won't be able to get out of there, I wouldn't think. It's pretty deep. He has backed it back. Well done. Well done. Normally when you're in there, you are in there for good.
There, mate. You should have a little bit of gap there, a little bit of a gap to work into.
So
he actually did that much easier than I thought he was going to.
Totally. I've seen 1,000 cars in there and they never got out.
Yeah, copy that, mate.
Might not be as deep. Year on year, sometimes.
Again, this just illustrates the point that Jack Perkins made a little earlier in the coverage, that when you just drop in and you're not regularly part of that outfit or in that car or part of the weekend rhythm, it's just such a hard thing to do. And these guys, the professionals that we see week in and week out, like a lot of professional sports people, make the task look easy, and it certainly is not. 28 laps remain as Thomas Randle takes his second compulsory stop in the Castrol Mustang. Peeled off out of third position. It's been a good race number 23 so far for him. Good solid start. Dropped the clutch at the very beginning. We had a fast race car.
So for Ford fans, we were posing the question. Gee, that also worries me when that happens. For Ford fans, we were posing the question of whether Waters was able to make ground on Feeney when he got let by there by Thomas Randle. He's made 1.4 seconds on him.
Fuel now. Mirror.
BP fuel's going in at the rate of about 2.7 litres a second.
Sorry.
Dropping in with a bit of fresh air around him as Andre Heimgartner also comes into the pit. That'll actually serve Cam pretty well.
In first gear, standing by. Get ready to go. You're going to be clear. Go.
Mark Dutton there with good, clear instruction. So here we go. This is for the lead. Here comes Waters. Now, I think I saw green tyres on the back of that car of Phoenix when they put those on. Did you think they were brand new?
I wasn't paying attention to the tyres. I was just looking overall at what was going on with the stop. Now, this is nice and tight. And while those tyres are coming up to temperature and pressure on the Red Bull car, that'll allow Waters to continue to range in here. And so that's going to create a bit of pressure as Jones, Mostert and Winterbottom also come into the lane. Whincup keeping an eye on proceedings. Turn 7, and it'll start to feel a little more secure. Jack?
Yeah, guys, I definitely confirm new rear tyres on the back of car 88.
Yeah, thank you. That's great, because that, and even balance-wise, there might be a bit of a story in that. So for Feeney, he'll just try now, just to make sure you don't use this thing up too hard on the opening lap of this, because Cam Waters has got tyre pressure and temperature already up.
Matt Payne from the lead and Will Brown now their final stops of the day. And he just slightly overshot Will Brown, then it made Mark Dutton move back. You can see the markings on the road there, how much further he extended. And remember, he had less fuel, about 5 seconds less than his teammate to put in. So Brody Kostecki's our leader again at the end of the cycle, as he was at the first. And that is tight. Brown and Randle, not much in that one.
So the job for Feeney today is to finish in front of his teammate, but take 30 points from him. He has to take 30 points to keep the championship alive. Feeney currently is in effective lead of this race. Will Brown is effectively 5th. Now this is essentially the championship wrapping it up number. If he can make this pass, he basically locks it up. So pretty profound, very important few laps here.
Bad sportsmanship flag to car 6 for exceeding track limits.
So car 6, Cam Waters just been warned.
And that's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
With 23 laps remaining, so that just compromises his ability to throw it at the 1-2 curbing in the latter part of the race. So Brown's having a stiff here. It's a critical manoeuvre that Mark has just outlined, and he's right under the rear bumper, and both of them are on the slide through turn 8. And he's starting to diagonal to the apex. He's got it right on the braking limit, Will Brown, down there to the turn 9 apex, and nothing in it at the end. But debris building up on the outside of the racetrack. Matt Payne's fast out there at the moment as well. His last lap was very, very fast. It was a personal best. It was a 20.9. So Brown, that we're watching, fastest lap of the race, and that's now being compromised somewhat by being under the rear wing of the Castrol car. Jump on board now with Will. Let's see what this looks, feels, and sounds like. size him up down here at turn 9. This is 8 that they're on the approach to.
What he's got to be careful of is not to make a mistake there at 8. Because
here we go.
Here we go.
Makes the lunge now. He showed his nose down there last time, and it's done. Now, he had good pace at the apex all through the staircase, through 4, 5, 6. He was actually able to use more curb, noticeably so, Will Brown, by comparison to Thomas Randle. And it was cool to just stay on board with him there to understand what he was able to achieve. So he makes a critical move there. Brody Kostecki still leads the race. He's only done one stop.
Mega job there, awesome work. Just cool it up. If Waters has a used right front, he's got an issue with his tyres, so he might see him at the end.
But I was surprised by his aggression with Randle. And one of the things you've got to be careful of now is if he's going to attack the back of Cam, make sure you do it in a way that you don't place yourself in too much drama. You don't want wheel-to-wheel contact. You don't want a wheel on a guard contact. You don't want to put yourself out into the marbles or anything that might actually endanger your position on the road. So there's a lot to be thought about when you do this now.
It's the age-old.
Copy that, mate. See you, Ben. Don't lose too much time to paint behind the ground.
Yeah, so I didn't really fully understand what Cam said on the radio. Then there was a response from Sam, said don't lose too much time. But I think the essence of it was I'll just let him go. The age-old question when you're a championship contender and there's something big on the line is how much risk are you prepared to take?
Sponsorship flag to car 2 for exceeding track limits.
Ryan Wood. And so that's something you often ponder, because when you change the innate approach of a sports person and a race driver in this case from what they do naturally, and you interfere with that process, sometimes that can be worse than leaving them to their natural aggression.
Totally.
And at the moment, Will Brown's showing plenty of that natural aggression as he gets a bit closer to the back of Cam. I didn't really fully decipher what he said. He's under big pressure here at the moment.
But I think he also got the curb warning, remember?
Yeah.
So that would also be placing more stress on him to be finding pace in other sections of the racetrack.
Now, here's the interesting thing. Will Brown, again, compared to the battle with Thomas Randle, is able to use a ton more curb, and he's done it again. So he's just slipped on by. And he's able to park that right up and over the top of the curb with relative ease, and he did it at turn 5.
Excellent job there. We just want a nice and smooth home here. That's all we need to do, nice and smooth home. We're going to do a little bit of fuel saving, just make sure that we're all easy. So clear him and then we'll fuel save.
Brock Feeney sets off on that journey, and Mark's point is spot on point.
All good on fuel, all good on fuel. Ignore any alarms. Ignore the alarms.
Ignore the alarms. So they're tight for fuel, which is all part of the game. But he had to go out and win the race today, and that's precisely what he's going to execute. There's the margin back to second, and here's the battle for third, and it's on at turn 4 under brakes. Payne again has a dive and a think about it down the inside. They're going to argue this all the way to the very last corner, without doubt. So now Waters can play for sheep stations. He can cover, he can be aggressive. Payne can do exactly the same and try and hustle and force the issue, which he does at turn 7. Tries to get underneath him, but he has to pull the nose out. That may have cost him now.
Yep.
So that's now put some car lengths into that process. It may have let Cam Waters off the hook. He might be able to have another dive down here at 9, but I don't think he's going to be close enough. Meantime, for Brock Feeney, this is going to be a sweet win this afternoon, but not enough, because for Will Brown, who's on the left-hand side of screen, he was the Formula 4 champion in 2016, Toyota 86 champion in 2016, Formula 4 runner-up in 2016, TCR champion in 2019, runner-up in Dunlop Super 2, and he is now, in 2024, the Repco Supercars champion. And what a drive today for Will Brown. Great performance, a 1-2 for the team.
Cool, guys. Thank you. We've been rooted, actually.
That's a technical term, and you would be. Yeah. And it's a tear in the eye of everybody down there in the garage. Shane, his dad. They've got a business in Toowoomba. Cars galore. but it's brown galore in Adelaide today. The 26-year-old from Queensland has pulled off something very special in his career. A monumental day to remember. Remember, he only came into the team in 2024.
Yep.
And he has done a magnificent job.
As Will Brown has got it done on Saturday. With a race to spare, he just needed to get himself to the podium, and he did it with style, getting all the way to second in a commanding Red Bull Ampol Racing 1-2. We haven't seen them on top at a street circuit, an official street circuit like this one, since Newcastle last year. So they've ended that streak. They've also ended the streak of Cam Waters winning on Saturdays on the street circuits too. But Cam was right there from the pole and inside the top 3. Great fight between himself, Matt Payne, Thomas Randle. Brady Kostecki from outside the 10 got to 6th with a nice drive. How about Chaz Mostert? He started in pit lane, didn't even have a clutch, managed to drive up to 13th. So they've clearly got some race pace. Brand new day tomorrow for them, and a reset will be quite interesting to see if he can climb up the order. No one can catch him now. 168 points. It's been put to bed. Also getting close between Mostert and Waters for 3rd after Waters took a chunk of points out of Chaz today. And that fight for 5th, reasonably close as well between Payne and Randle and Golding, all fighting for 5th in the title. Teams points as well to think about. We know who's wrapped it up at the top. 1st, 2nd and 3rd look pretty much set. That fight between Penrite Racing, Shell V-Power Racing, Erebus and Matt Stone certainly going to be very, very close, and a big talking point throughout tomorrow as well, with Penrite Racing just with their noses ahead of the Shell V-Power Racing team today. And that's why it was so important for Dale Wood to go out and get as many points as he could. So there's the shot as Will Brown gets to celebrate with his teammate up there today. Brock Feeney gets the win. He wins the battle, but Will Brown has well and truly won the war in 2024.